for you.
Thank you, Rocky. As a fellow licensee and as a member and leader of our association, Rocky, I want to thank you for your absolute commitment to our Choice Hotel Owners Council and our licensee
Thank you.
community.
I appreciate it.
Rocky.
No problem. Thank you. Good luck.
And a special thank you to this incredible board of directors who are on stage with us this morning. These people invest their time and guidance because they believe so strongly in the power of your Chalk organization. These are the faces of your fellow franchisees. Get to know them if you don't already. As Rocky said, my name is Azim Saju. I'm the chairperson of the Choice Hotel Owners Council. I'm also a fellow Choice licensee. Our group owns 5 Choice-branded properties in the state of Florida. I'm proud to be here today and privileged to represent the owners, delivering value to our licensees, even while we're also fully engaged in managing our hotels. Being part of Chalk is not a requirement. It's not an obligation for our professional success. We do this simply because we have a passion for helping our fellow owners prosper. Of course, there's a certain selfishness in that, because we know that if we're successful helping you to prosper, we will inevitably do the same for ourselves. As members of Chalk, we are not just talking the talk here, we are walking the walk. If Rocky and I are going to stand up here and say we need to invest in ourselves and invest in each other, then we need to put our money where our mouth is. And that is exactly what we are doing here today. Congratulations to each and every one of you for recognizing the critical importance of this event to your bottom line, supporting us and coming out here today. Just look at our Choice Hotel Owners Council mission statement: to represent the licensees of Chalk through a unified voice, protecting the greater interest of its members by providing ideas, advocacy programs, and services. This conference embodies this mission, delivering precisely the value that matters most to all of us here, our Chalk owners. Value. That's a word that has a lot of personal meaning for me. Value resides in the things that are of greatest importance to us. When it comes to running our hotels, we can all agree on what is truly valuable. That's what I will talk to you about this morning: value. Providing sustainable value, building sustainable value, and creating sustainable value for all of us. Look, I sweat payroll just like many of you here in this room. I'm well aware that over 60% of our membership are single unit operators, and we deal with razor-thin margins, where every dollar we spend to host or attend an event such as this needs to bring real value back to our hotels. I understand and appreciate the financial investment all of us make to Chalk every single month. And while Chalk is a voluntary organization, we as volunteers, especially myself as your organization's leader, understand the fiduciary responsibility we have to our membership and the responsibility we have to our membership to deliver a return on your hard-earned membership dollars. I also fully understand and appreciate the tremendous strength, courage, and tireless toil it takes to make your business sustainable. The tireless toil it takes to meet our obligations to our franchisor partner, our government partner, our teams, our customers, our investors, and the list is endless, especially in the new normal world in which we live. Every single one of us in this room know that the hotel business is not a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday business. As owners, we work nights, we work weekends, we work holidays, we work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we are always on call. And every single one of us in this room have shed blood, sweat, and tears to make our obligations, create a sustainable business model, often at the sacrifice of our families. I totally understand and appreciate that, because I lived that myself. This is precisely where our conference theme is winning strategies for the new normal. From my vantage point, if we are talking about strategies, sustainability strategy matters as much, if not more, than your exit strategy when it comes to generating real value. In other words, view your business as a long-term profit center which is built to last, because this approach is also a viable option which will allow you to develop a winning strategy in the new normal world in which we live. It is simply a strategy that you can take to the bank. To illustrate this point, I'm going to tell you the popular child's tale of the three pigs, with, of course, a hotelier's perspective. It goes like this. One pig decided to build a house because he heard this was a great way to earn fast income. He wanted to optimize his profits fast, so he chose to build cheap, sell the house. The housing market was very hot then, and make a substantial profit with a quick exit strategy. This pig did not care about long-term growth or sustainability of his investment. Therefore, he did not build in a subdivision, hired the lowest bid cost contractor, and cut corners everywhere that he could. Well, before he could sell his house, the big, bad economic and regulatory wolf showed up and blew down his house, leaving a dilapidated house and an unkempt lot for the bank to repossess. The second pig placed slightly more value on sustainability than the first set, and therefore he was not in such a big hurry. He built his house out of mid-priced wood materials. Unlike the first pig, this pig built his house in a subdivision, thinking that he could get more resale value from belonging to a subdivision. However, the subdivision developer was focused on building as many homes for as low a cost as possible and cut corners on a number of codes and standards. The developer considered itself nothing more than a distribution company for homes. In this regard, the developer had no strategic growth plan and sold lots to anyone and everyone who could pay them, without verifying whether there were quality homeowners who would bring value to that subdivision. Well, when the big, bad economic and regulatory wolf appeared, most of the homes foreclosed, and those that were left, including that of our second pig, were upside down and had to sell at a loss. However, and everyone knows there has to be a happy ending here, the last pig heard about the big, bad wolf through his active involvement in his homeowners association, and therefore he built his house out of bricks. While bricks increased his costs, he also worked harder on his home than the first two sets of pigs, because simply he planned to live in it for a while. He did his due diligence and built his home in a development where the developer and homeowners association put a premium on the resident homeowner's property value. Their association took pride in investing in each other and themselves by protecting the greater interest of its members. Importantly, the association was solution-driven. Well, when the wolf showed up at this community, he struggled to get through the gate. Even when passing the gate, he still could not blow down any of the brick homes and eventually left. As we anemically recover from the Great Recession, it is clear that we live in a world increasingly subject to potential shocks, such as the continued economic crisis in Europe. All of us know what's going on in Cyprus right now, challenges with North Korea, Iran, etc. This is a world where sustainability matters more than ever. Simply stated, the wolves that we face as an industry are more abundant, stronger, more prevalent, and can appear unexpectedly. This is the new normal world in which we live. And now, sustainability can be a winning strategy for the hospitality industry. The days of the cheap, fast build for quick resale are long gone. The 6 areas which when we recognize the value they represent to our hotels and our business's sustainability, these areas we cannot ignore any longer. These 6 areas are vital elements to our ability to create and maintain a sustainable business model. First, quite simply, the franchisee and franchisor relationship. We are all here today because we are choice franchisees. And as such, we understand and value that the franchise business model is significantly more sustainable and more profitable than otherwise. That being said, the inherent conflict between the franchisee and franchisor is that our top line revenues are their bottom line, and our bottom line is what we bring home. And what we bring home ultimately is what we use to put clothes on our back, food on our table, and a roof over our head. As a fellow licensee, your association's chairperson and leader, I'm here to tell you loud and clear that I understand and I get that. In spite of this, what I do propose here is that the terms franchisor, franchisee be exchanged for the single term partner. The partnership means that each side cares about the long-term return of the other by investing in themselves and also investing in each other. Neither of us can get very far once we've hitched our wagons if we move in opposite directions. Of course, there are always going to be areas where we just don't see eye to eye. Consider the issue of amenities, refreshes, upgrades, new brand initiatives, brand rollouts. I'm here to tell you that these amenities, new amenities, refreshes, upgrades, rollouts can peacefully exist with our desire to generate a reasonable return on our investment. As franchisees, we need to understand that a stagnant brand delivers minimal value, resulting in a subdivision very similar to that of the second set of pigs. However, our franchisor partner also needs to understand that simply growing market share and top-line revenues is not sustainable and is a race to the bottom. Our franchisor partner also needs to understand that as business owners, our costs, from utilities to regulatory compliance, to brand standard compliance, to reservation fees, and the list goes on, continues to increase every year. And for most, if not all of us, these increases in costs are outpacing our increase in revenues. For that matter, it's no secret that average hotel rates have not even kept pace with inflation over the last 10 years. And now, although revenues in the hotel industry are finally up, the increase in our bottom line is not commensurate to the risk that we take every single day. This is a common theme I have heard from the hundreds of choice licensees with whom I've spoken starting from fall regionals last year. In this regard, at fall regionals and at even some of our town halls, licensees are very concerned about net ADR because they know the lack of substantial growth in net ADR is having a severe adverse impact to our bottom line. To all of us here today, I will share with you a recent example when it comes to amenity creep, balanced against maintaining market share and protecting our bottom line and brand value. This example is when Apple came out with the Mac. There were two distinct responses to that. One was Dell. Dell felt that it had to create a laptop which matched all the bells and whistles of the Mac. HP took a very different approach. HP matched the Mac by looking at low-cost, high-impact items that the consumer really wanted. And that item for the HP laptop was simply putting a headset plug-in their laptops. Low-cost, high-impact, my definition of touch point, a term our partners use at Choice when discussing the thought behind new brand rollouts and initiatives. The result? Dell is cash-starved, while HP is growing its bottom line. We must all of us in this room, as partners, commit to taking the HP approach. This approach is a winning strategy in the new norm. That's when partnerships matter the most, because such an approach recognizes the need for a mutual win. And if we don't recognize this through solution-driven dialogue, then I can guarantee every one of us in this room that we are assured a mutual loss. This brings me to the second key of sustainability, and that is your franchisee association and its membership. The growth in costs and amenities and rollouts, it's not solely the fault of the franchisor. To the contrary, as I said last year at the Choice Convention, Choice has been surprisingly open to hearing from its licensees on these issues. However, the voices coming from our association need to have integrity and credibility in the eyes of all the stakeholders. This voice needs to not only reflect the best and the brightest in our industry, it also has to be representative of the majority of franchisees and not a small select minority. This voice has to be one which knows, understands, appreciates, and gets that more can be done as partners while balancing the association's independent voice and conveying to our franchisor partner how hard it is to turn a profit and create a sustainable business model. Quite simply, I am here to tell you loud and clear to participate in your regional town halls, your regional advisory boards, your national chalk memberships. Do it now. We need your voice. We need it desperately. Your participation and the directors sitting here representing your respective regions impact your hotel's bottom line and your hotel's sustainability. Our partnership can grow with our franchisor by, I believe, focusing on two very important areas. First, we need to more actively think of new sources of revenue that go beyond just average rate, and occupancy. As partners, we need to have a solution-driven dialogue on what additional areas in our industry that we can monetize without compromising on the guest experience and the brand's value. This means critically thinking about areas such as pay-for-play internet bandwidth, landing pages, and new sources of revenues at our hotels, and investing more dollars in programs that leverage the power of our group, like co-op marketing, which consistently delivers a strong return on our investment. A stronger online presence so that reservations are directed to our lowest cost booking channel. The second is effective revenue management tools that flex rates, discounts, and channel management similar to what our friends do at the airlines. As I said earlier in my speech, growth in ADR is not even keeping pace with inflation. And net ADR is a very important issue to my fellow licensees. We can combat this and grow rate by improved, user-friendly revenue management tools and forecasting so that our rates, discounts, restrictions, channels are all changing instantaneously subject to demand. This incremental revenue, coupled with new sources of monetization, go directly to our bottom line. The point here is that to be part of the solution, we need your experience, your insight, and your collaboration. All of these are of tremendous value. If all we do is spend our time belaboring the problem, then the problem remains. If we focus our attention on the solution, and there is a solution here, we give that solution a chance to become reality. In this regard, if you do not speak, if you do not participate, you cannot be heard. But if you only shout, you are also not listening. And in either case, we're not solution-driven. I urge my fellow CHALK members, partners at Choice, and licensees to be solution-driven in your dialogue and interaction, simply because there are solutions out there that will allow us to grow our pie. The third area of sustainability is lending and finance. Credit continues to remain tight. My suggestion is that once you've secured a lender, make them your partner from the outset. Be transparent with them in terms of sharing your financials, your star reports, your guest insight surveys, your overall performance within the brand. Educate your lender as to your plan to keep their assets sustainable over the long run. I said this in 2009, I said it in 10, I said it in 11, I said it in 12, and I will say it now. You cannot cut your way out of an economic downturn. Simply stated, communicate, engage, and connect with your lender. And recognize that character matters. And let your lender know all the efforts you are making to run an efficient operation while maintaining your assets, their assets, sustainability. In fact, in this same general session, we will have a complete discussion about finance and lending. I know you will not want to miss it. The fourth area is hotel operations, which is obvious for building your sustainability. Hotel operations is the bricks that your house is built from. You cannot grow that which you don't love. Rocky has already pointed out many of the tools Choice provides in helping with your hotel operations. Fully leverage off of these tools. And the basic point here is also that good old-fashioned clean rooms and friendly service resulting from a strong operations culture count more than ever. When it comes to service, we all should promise that our guests at our Choice properties will receive the same level of service, if not better, than those at the Hampton brands, the Hilton brands, the Marriott brands, the Holiday Inn brands. If we can make a commitment to this principle, then the simple rule that 80% of our future business comes from the guests that stayed at our hotels last night will result in a strong source of revenue growth and market share growth. The fifth area is about the simple principle that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Grow your business by participating in your community. If you're known, liked, and trusted within your community, then business will tend to gravitate towards your hotel. And last but not least, sustainable business practices are no longer separate and distinct from sustaining the environment. Yes, it is true, very true, that you can have a green-friendly hotel which benefits your ROI and makes your customers proud to be a guest. Save the Earth programs can help with your utility bills, housekeeping costs, check your water heaters, clean your air conditions, check your pipes for leaks. A study done by Forbes and MIT of companies engaging in green-friendly, sustainable practices unequivocally states that such practices can improve both your businesses and Earth's sustainability. So there you have it. Value, a strategy of sustainability. They come from 6 simple principles. 1, invest in your franchisor relationships, what I call partnership, so that we can work for mutual solutions to improve our bottom lines. 2, invest in your franchise association, recognizing the powerful voice, powerful value of your associations, collective voice in delivering value. 3, invest in financing and lending with the perspective of collaboration from your lender. 4, invest in your hotel operations. That's where the rubber hits the road. 5, invest in your community as a source of strong reputation and stronger resources. And 6, environmentally sustainable practices, doing good in order to reap a real ROI. Winning strategies in the new normal is indicative of the very changed world in which we live. The wolves are more abundant and more prevalent. That being said, I fully believe that we can not only remain profitable in the new normal, but there's an opportunity for us to thrive in this new normal. But I tell our membership to know this, that nothing flourishes, nothing in any enterprise without a shared vision by all of the enterprise's stakeholders. And that shared vision starts with dynamic, solution-driven, collaborative dialogue that energizes everyone involved and energizes their creativity. That shared vision starts with you, your Hotel Choice Owners Council, your participation, and the leaders you elect to represent your respective regions. Together, we can and will energize our collective creativity in terms of advocacy in an ever-changing environment, discovering new sources of monetization, establishing service levels which are second to none, defining a strong, user-friendly method of revenue management, nurturing community involvement, and the development of a business model that is sustainable from a profit and earth-friendly perspective. In addition to our board of directors, I would also like to say a very deep, heartfelt thank you to all of the volunteers of our Choice Hotel Owners Council. Our vice directors, and can you all please stand up? Our delegates, our regional advisory board members, all of our past chalk leadership that has come out and supported us at this event. Will every one of you put your hands together and give these individuals a big round? I would also like to thank Stacy Ruth, James Grievous, the entire Actio team, our partners at Choice for attending, participating, and supporting us at this investment conference. And last but not least, I would like to thank every one of you for attending and participating in this reinvented Choice Hotel Owners Investment Conference. It is a strong statement about the dedication of your Choice Hotel Owners Council, the Choice representatives, and the sponsors who are dedicated to your growth and the importance of your business for all of our collective benefit. I encourage you to spend the next 2 days investing in some incredible top-level education, peer-to-peer networking, and candid conversations about the world we find ourselves in. I challenge you to leave this meeting with at least 3 new strategies to win in this new normal. Thank you very much. I will now turn the program over to Rocky Pintozzi, whose passion for this event needs no introduction.